really health is our ability to adapt to our environment. This is when we often get sick if we can't adapt. It could be a cold draft. It could be, like I said, the temperature going warm, then very, very cold, but also going cold, very, very warm. You know, it's our ability to be able to adapt, because what we're looking for is our susceptibility. It's always about our susceptibility. So, for example, if you think of what your sort of energy or your vital force, or your Chinese medicine they called qi or prana in Ayurveda, if it's on a scale to 0 to 10, you know, it's dynamic. It's dynamic. It's moving according to what's going on mentally and emotional within us, what's going on environmental. So it's really important that we try to maintain our health and well-being. So I'm looking at the 12 homeopathic remedies for Christmas as a gift to you. So let's look at Christmas. So surviving the festive season. This is the title, because the festive holidays are undoubtedly a wonderful and joyous time of the year, with its sparkling decorations, putting the tree up, putting all the things up in the house, cherish family traditions and festive feasts amongst friends and family. However, some people find themselves dreading Christmas. You know, they dread this time of the year. Sometimes we can be alone at this time of year. It can bring back old memories back, but also feeling stressed, overwhelmed, and unhappy for all different types of reasons. A lot of food and alcohol is consumed this time of year. A lot of overindulgence. You know, then lack of exercise, lack of movement. We seem to be sitting around a lot, eating lots of sweets and lots of, you know, like I say, drinking lots of alcohol, all the things that we probably wouldn't normally do. We do overindulge. Why? Because we feel it's Christmas. Why not? But again, these family gatherings, illnesses and overall stress, it all intensifies at this period of time between Christmas and the New Year holidays. So I just wanted to put down 12 homeopathic remedies. Yes, I'm following the Christmas thing of 12 days of Christmas, to remedies that you should have at hand or have in your homeopathic remedy kit or have at home, which will help you through this time of the year. So, if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. All the videos are on the YouTube channel that I've done over the past year. And check out all the other videos I've done, because I've done lots of different videos from allergies to hay fever to bumps and bruises to impetigo, all the different types of conditions. So again, check them out and subscribe. If you subscribe to the YouTube channel, you'll get notified when new videos get released, or check us out on the chehomeopathy.com website, where we do a lot of courses from beginners all the way to practitioner level. So let's look at some festive homeopathic remedies. So let's start with aconite. Okay, so aconite. Aconite is often the first signs of a cold. Now you've got to remember this remedy. This remedy is crucial to know about. I've talked about this when we've done coughs and colds and influenzas, but this is a remedy that you need to have around at Christmas. And it's useful at the very first signs of a cold, with a sudden chill, shivering, fever, and sudden onset of symptoms. Ailments from dry, cold winds, or getting very cold, or from a shock or fright. Remember that. It's also a shock and fright remedy. People have a shock or fright, then often, you know, people can go into an aconite state. But particularly, as I mentioned before, in the UK, it's been very, very cold. I've prescribed this remedy a lot this past couple of weeks. Fantastic remedy. So often as well, they can get a pain at the root of the nose, and the nose can feel dry or feels blocked up, or slight discharge, and much sneezing. So they'll be sneezing a lot with a watery discharge, and sometimes as the discharge is coming out, it feels like hot water runs from the nose. They can have often a keynote of aconite is great anxiety and fear, sense of foreboding. They sense it, they feel they're going to die. When this come with this cold, it starts in, but they go into this state of fear and anxiety. And this physical as well as mental restlessness. They can't seem to sit still. They can't seem to be still. Worse evening, worse at midnight, big keynote of aconite, and rising from a lying position, they feel worse. Better for open air. And with aconite, they're so thirsty. So thirsty for large quantity of cold water. They want to drink. And these are the questions we ask people. You know, are you thirsty or thirst less? Are you thirsty? What are you thirsty for? Cold or warm? Oh, cold. Okay. And all of a sudden it differentiates between the different remedies that you need. But the 4 keynotes that you've got to know about Aconite is fear, fright, fast. It comes very fast, and fevers. Okay. Goes into fevers very, very quickly. So Aconite, this is in alphabetical order, by the way, what I'm going to go through today, the 12 remedies. So yeah, it's not order of importance, it's order alphabetically. Next remedy, Argentum. This is for anticipation. Okay, so this is recommended for people with anxiety that is due to some kind of anticipation or apprehension, such as hosting a large gathering of family and friends or a party, trying to get everything organized for that big day, Christmas Day. And you can see here the lady's got her fingers crossed. She just wants it all to go. But the anticipation and the apprehension causes a lot of mental strain, a lot of worry, and they feel something bad's going to happen. It's all impending doom, it's all going to go wrong. They'll wake up in a cold sweat in the middle of the night worrying about it. And what happens, they get themselves in such a state, they're very hurried in their actions. And actually, they want to walk fast. They'll feel like, I'm just going to go out for a walk. I need to go out for a walk. And they're walking, but they're walking really fast. But they feel better for that. It's almost like it helps ground them by walking fast and being quick. Very impulsive, very impatient with things. So they get themselves in a real state. And often they can have digestive upsets with the anxiety. So it could be diarrhea. It's a big thing for Argentum. They often will get diarrhea. It will go to the digestive tract. Or they have flatulence. So they have loud belching or flatulence from the other end. And really is loud. It's noticeable. The family members will sort of make a joke about it because it's really loud. But they can crave sweets. This is a keynote for Argentum. They crave sweets, they crave sugar, and they crave salt. Perfect combination at Christmas because people are surrounded by sugar, sweets, and salty things. But they get aggravated from it. So they don't feel good from it. So again, it can cause problems with the digestion. They can feel bloated afterwards. And the thing about Argentum, they are really warm-blooded. They're really, really hot, and they'll crave open air. So they're better for cold. Actually, if the tummy it hurts a bit from the bloating, they'll feel better with cold application on the tummy. Worse for heat. But this, Argentum, the remedy for anticipation about an event that's coming up, and they really have anxiety and apprehension about it, that they think it's all going to go wrong, but real mental strain. So it's a great remedy for anticipation. Next remedy, Arsenicum album, upset tummy. So this can be from food poisoning, from bad meat, shellfish, or after watery fruits or vegetables. And this is when they get diarrhea and nausea, with vomiting and frequent loose and offensive watery stools. Okay, you can get severe cramping in the abdomen, but the keynote for Arsenicum is the burning pains. They feel burning, pains on passing the stool, and they're extremely restless, changes places, constantly changing them around, can't seem to get any relief wherever they sit or stand or lie down, exhausted, wants to lie down, but as soon as they lie down, they're up again. It's like they can't seem to rest. And there's the keynote with Arsenicum is they're very weak, very exhausted, and very chilly. Okay, weakness, exhaustion, and chilliness. But they also have anxiety as well. They have anxiety and worry often accompanies physical symptoms. So they may have physical symptoms like the diarrhea and vomiting and nausea, but also they have anxiety and worry with it. Okay, so they can fear they're not going to get better. They feel that they're seriously ill, and they despair about getting better. Okay, and they want people around them. Okay, but they don't feel better. They don't feel better with people around them. But they do have this despair. Despair, they're not going to get better. It's something serious. This is it. I'm probably going to die, sort of situation. But it's just their mental state at the time. But also, not to forget, with Arsenicum, they have a fear around financial situations or fear of hardship or poverty. Big thing for Arsenicum. And they can be extremely controlling as well within the family. But back to the worry about financial issues, this can come up at Christmas, as we know, especially in these times that we're living now. people can be really, really worried about the financial hardship and financial burden and challenges that they face. So Christmas, is not a great time of the year when they have to spend for the kids or preparations and have to spend money. So this will really worry them. And again, this can cause diarrhea and physical symptoms. So just like the physical symptoms, and then they get the mental and emotional symptoms with it, they can also get it the other way around. The mental and emotional symptoms and the worry and the anxiety about money and financial issues can also result in physical symptoms. Now, with Arsenicum, the symptoms get worse around midnight. Here's the picture here. It's midnight, between 10 to 2 a.m. Okay, so it's not dead on midnight. It's before midnight and after, between 10 and 2 a.m. And worse, they're worse for cold, can't get warm, better for warm applications. Even though they have burning pains, they will feel better with small sips of warm drinks. Okay, they'll feel better from that. And they can't, if they feel sick and nauseous, they cannot bear the sight or the smell of food anywhere near them. Okay, so a really, really good remedy to know, especially around Christmas time. Next remedy, Carbo Veg. Again, this is a digestive remedy, gas and bloating with Carbo Veg. It's made from vegetable charcoal. So gas and bloating, can't bear any tight clothing around the abdomen, and they get the gas and bloating 30 minutes or half an hour after eating. Now this could be after having alcohol, fish, iced water. That can cause gas and bloating. Vegetables or rich food. And they can also have severe diarrhea with extreme weakness and collapse state. Again, this is the keynote for Carbo Veg. It is, I said about Arsenicum can feel weak and exhausted. This is a collapse state. Really extreme weakness. They just cannot get off the bed or they can't move. Very listless, very indifferent to what's going on. Where with the Arsenicum, they're mentally, because they've got a lot of anxiety, they're very aware of what's going on. So quite inert, a lot of apathy, but they have bloating in the stomach with belching. So they belch, or they burp, and they feel a lot better from the release of the gas. And again, flatulence from the rectum, it can be extreme flatulence, and sometimes the wind will feel trapped, and that can cause discomfort. And if they do have diarrhea, it's a foul-smelling diarrhea. It's like cadaver, odor of cadaver. It's like rotting flesh. Really, really, really horrible smell. And with this gas, they can have cramping in the abdomen, which causes them to bend double. Now, again, very, very interesting. They'll have very, very icy hands and feet. Okay, so you'll feel the hands, and they're like blocks of ice. Both the hands and the feet. The hands and the feet and the toes and the fingers. Really, really icy cold. But they desire open air and wants to be fanned. It's like they've got what's called air hunger. So they need air around them. They'll fan, or they want a fan around them. This will need to have moving air because they feel quite breathless, like they can't get enough oxygen in. The chilly, but will want to have cold drinks, which is again peculiar symptom if they are feeling so cold. So they want cold drinks and they want the cold air. It makes them feel better. Worse for rich foods. Worse for wine, particularly as an alcohol. Worse for wine. Worse stuffy rooms. Worse covering up. Worse lying down. Better belching. Better sitting up. So again, Carbo Veg, great remedy for gas and bloating. Next remedy is Coffea for overexcitement. It's a great picture. I love this picture. I think I've used it in quite a few videos. Such a great picture. So this is for overexcitement. So it's like overexcitement, mental activity, rush of ideas. I mean, some people absolutely get so excited about Christmas. Not just talking about kids now, I'm talking about adults as well. It's like the favorite time of the year. They get their Christmas decorations out, the lights out on the 25th of November. It always puzzles me. I'm driving around, people have got the Christmas lights up so early. So they can't wait for it. They get really excited. They may get really excited for seeing people they haven't seen, family members, they haven't seen especially because of lockdown, they haven't seen for a number of years. So a lot of excitement, and they can't stop thinking about all the things that they've got to get, they've got to do. Oh, we're going to get this, got to get that. And basically the whole nervous system is overreacting. It's like oversensitive. So the more they get excited, the more the nervous system gets wound up. the more all their senses become acute. So remember, Coffea is made from coffee. So imagine when you drank a lot of coffee, everybody's senses is heightened. Okay, they think they can do all these things. The brain's going, so really overstimulated. But also, I said about adults getting excited. Obviously, this is a great remedy for kids who are so excited they can't sleep. Especially think about Christmas Eve when they cannot get to sleep because they're so excited about Father Christmas coming. So great remedy for that. And they'll wake as well, wake at every little sound. So they can't get into that deep sleep. Again, the system is really oversensitive. So great agitation and restlessness in bed, and also insomnia. They just can't get to sleep. They just can't seem to get into their nervous system to a state where they can go into a deep sleep cycle. Also, they do have insomnia or sleeplessness for excessive use of coffee or wine, worse for any noise, and worse excessive excitement. Great remedy to have for the Christmas period. Next remedy, good old Gelsemium. So this is our #1 flu remedy, influenza remedy. Again, you see this a lot when people suddenly stop for the Christmas period, they get sick. I see this a lot with teachers who are teaching, and then as soon as the last day at school, they get sick. So this is a common thing around Christmas. #1 flu remedy, Gelsemium. There's many flu remedies, and check out my video on influenza and flu remedies. But you ought to have this one around at hand because it's really good. So gradual onset, sensation of heaviness about the body. Look at this picture. This picture is a classic Gelsemium picture. They've got droopy eyelids. They look heavy, great fatigue, aching, weakness, and soreness in the muscles. And you can also have trembling in the muscles as well. They describe the muscles as trembling. After cold, damp weather, particularly, you go into this Gelsemium state. But also, just like Argenite, this is a remedy for anticipation. So again, they may have been anticipating a family event or the way they're going to do Christmas, and then they get sick, okay? And they go into this flu-like state. So if you've got these keynotes, this will be the remedy for you, the Gelsemium, because it's a big remedy for anticipation. Also from bad news. This is a remedy from bad news, so that people can go into this state after bad news. So they could have had a shock, or say everybody cancels for Christmas, for whatever reason they're sick and they've had to cancel everything. People can go into a Gelsemium state, a flu-like influenza with weakness, great fatigue, aching in the muscles, droopy eyelids, and extreme exhaustion. Okay, so that's why I included this remedy. There's many uses for this remedy around Christmas. If they do get influenza, they get fever with chills up and down the spine. And as I said, extreme exhaustion, no energy, answers very slowly. So ask them, how are you? Oh, I don't feel good. And their eyes are droopy. And they get up and they feel dizzy and drowsy. And also they can have a headache. And the keynote for the Gelsemium headache is like a tight band sensation around the head. Over their eyes and to the back of the head as well. That's the keynote for Gelsemium. And they're better for urination. So if they go to urinate, they suddenly say, oh, I feel a lot better. Okay? And then it can slowly come back, but they're better for urination. They're better for sweating. So it's like they're better for discharging. Better in open air, but if it's not cold, they don't like cold air. Better often in the afternoon. So maybe worse in the morning, but as the day comes on in the afternoon, they feel a lot better. And they're better if they're reclining, a bit like this picture, with their head high. They want their head high. Okay, they feel better for that, propped up. Worse from cold, damp weather, anticipation we've talked about. Even pleasurable events, or even if they're getting excited about something, as I said, they can get sick. So they can be anticipating good things. Like I said, hey, we're getting together, great Christmas, and then they get sick. Worst change of weather, cold nights, warm days. It's a bit like what we're having at the moment, the weather suddenly changed, where it's suddenly gone warm, and then it may be cold tonight. Worse for bad news we talked about, and also with Gelsemium, they are thirstless, okay? They are thirstless. Great remedy. Next remedy, Ignatia. Now this is a remedy for disappointment. You can see this picture, she's opening the box, she's disappointed. Because Ignatia often will have high expectations for the perfect, ideal Christmas. They've got it all mapped out. They know exactly how it's going to be. They've been thinking about it maybe for months. Very romantic, very idealistic. And guess what happens? If you're that idealistic, often it won't turn out the way you want it. Same with the present, not getting the perfect present, not getting the present they thought they were going to get. So they would have been thinking about this a lot, and the present maybe from the partner, what they thought they were going to get, they don't get it, and they get disappointed. Or if the plans don't go right, if the Christmas dinner doesn't go right, or if the party doesn't go right, it's like, oh, it's all going wrong. Because it's not, their expectations are so high. So high. And they're idealistic about how things. So they get very distressed, very tearful, very unhappy, highly emotional with Ignatia, with outbursts of sobbing. So they'll be really sobbing. They really have taking it to heart. Then they'll try to control the emotion. So they try to pull themselves together. But there'll be this deep sighing. You okay? Yeah, I'm fine. It's like they're pressing down this emotion. Deep sighing, keynote again with Ignatia. So they have these alternating states. One minute they're okay, then they're hysterical. And I mean hysterical. They can really, really be sobbing. Because they're very sensitive. They take things to heart, easily offended. You may say something, they get really offended. And also, keynote of Ignatia is a lump in the throat. Other remedies have it, but it's keynote for this remedy. They have a sensation of a lump in the throat. The swallow, it's like I can feel a lump. This is Ignatia. It's like the trapped grief. Okay, it's like trapped there in the throat. Worse for being consoled. Okay, they don't want to be consoled. Also worse for tobacco smoke. Very sensitive actually to cigarette smoke, tobacco smoke, coffee as well. Very sensitive to the whole nervous system. Better for swallowing. It feels better. Better for pressure as well. Okay, so Ignatia. Big remedy for disappointment. Okay, don't forget that remedy. Next remedy, Kali phos. Have to include this in here. This is you can have this in a homeopathic potency or as a tissue salt or cell salt. This is a great remedy for mental exhaustion, especially like leading up to Christmas. So, you know, people are leading up to Christmas. They've got so much things they have to do, from buying presents, sending cards, just trying to organize everything, trying to finish their work off. And the week before Christmas, everybody wants something from them at work. You know, it's a really full-on time. So often with Kali phos, it's good for nervous exhaustion or mental, particularly mental, like the brain. They've overworked the brain, overthought the brain. But this is a remedy for nervous exhaustion. It's like a tonic for the nervous system. The mind and the nervous system become really weak, and they get nervous insomnia. They're waking up every half an hour thinking about things. They can't, again, get into that deep state of sleep because the things are on their mind, you know. So it's like the mind's overactive. It can't switch off. So this can be from worry, from annoyance, from frustration, okay? And they have restlessness as well. So they're tossing and turning in the bed. It's like they look in the clock and it's like, you know, an hour's going, 2 hours, they're still not asleep. And they think, I've got to get up in a half an hour. Then they manage to fall asleep then, and then they have to wake up. So they see every hour. They just can't get into that deep. And also they get hot as well, hot in bed. It's like they're working themselves up into a bit of a frenzy. Also feels a lot of anger and irritability with their own family. Okay, so they get aversion to the family. Irritability will fly off the handle. They'll feel like they're doing everything. It's like they're overwhelmed. They can't feel like they can cope. They're overwhelmed and despondent. You know, even a slightest little thing, a slightest task will feel overwhelming to do. Okay, this is when you're in a Kali phos state. Better for warmth, better for rest, better for sleep, obviously, because they just need to reset. They need to recharge, and through sleep, as you know, that's how you get the deeper healing or the deeper rest. And worse for any mental or physical exertion, and worse for noise, because the whole nervous system is so sensitive. Please don't forget this remedy. This is such a good remedy. Often missed, often not given when it's indicated, but it's just great to have as I said, a tissue salt, a cell salt, in a 6x, 12x potency, or in the homeopathic potency. Next remedy we could not do, surviving the festive period without doing nux vomica. Nux vomica for overindulgence. So this is overindulgence in alcohol, rich food, tobacco, smoking, getting the cigars out, coffee, any stimulants at all. So this is when people really, they start on the works night out before Christmas, or could even start even before that. And they are just really, they're going from parties, social events, constantly drinking, constantly having rich food. Then over the Christmas period. So this is the main hangover remedy. Worse from the effects of alcohol. Okay? And they'll have indigestion and they'll have a headache from the alcohol. The little tip is, if you are going to partake in alcohol with Nux vomica, take it before you go out, during and after as well. Because sometimes you find it works better that way than just taking it the next day. So if you take it before, during and after you come back, you'll find, if you've been out, you'll find it works a lot better. Okay, wakes very unrefreshed in the morning, often because the liver's so congested, and nausea with a sour taste in their mouth. Okay, and if they do have sickness, if they are vomiting, and they can vomit if they had too much alcohol and rich food, they have nausea and vomiting, but they feel better. So they really will be retching, and you'll hear them, but they're better for vomiting. They feel the nausea is so much better from vomiting. They want to vomit. They can have hiccup after overeating, flatulence, heartburn, okay, and difficulty in passing stool. So they get constipated. Okay, big remedy for constipation, especially for after all overindulgence. And they'll try to go to the toilet, but they only pass a small amount, and they feel as though they've left something behind. Left something unfinished. They feel like they've left something unfinished. They haven't completed the bowel movement, and they can feel pretty rotten after that. They feel better for discharging. As I say, they feel better for vomiting. They feel better for going to the toilet. Otherwise, they just feel bunged up. And sometimes they can go like this for days. You know, it just doesn't seem to, things don't seem to move. Personality-wise, in the Nux vomica state, they can be very angry, very impatient, very irritable, and very oversensitive. Okay, and these often they can be working really hard as well up to Christmas. So they can be, say they own their own business and they're working really, really, really hard right up to Christmas Eve. So they really push themselves and they keep themselves going with lots of coffee. And you know, to keep stimulants to keep them going, but then Christmas comes and they sort of collapse or they really overindulge. Okay, so they're not in a good state. The susceptibility then is you're sort of lowering your susceptibility to things. Worse for cold, very chilly. Worse for noise. It's like, keep that noise down. They're really irritated, especially with the family around them. They need to go out, they need to get away, or you'll find them going to another room. You'll find them in the spare room doing something. It's like they want to get away because the noise is too much. Worse for pressure of the clothes, especially around the abdomen, because they can feel sick, and they want to get their clothes loosened, or especially around the waist, and especially after overeating. They are better for naps. They'll go for the nap. They'll feel better for napping. I said better for discharges, as we've talked about, better for resting, better for warm drinks. And they are very, very chilly. So don't forget that very chilly remedy. Probably one of the most important remedies for Christmas, I'd say. Then we got Pulsatilla. So again, for some people, they're spending Christmas alone. For whatever reason, maybe plans haven't worked out, or they have to work this year. They may do shift work and they have to spend Christmas away from their families. So often people can go into a grief state and they'll be spending the holidays alone. And the feeling with Pulsatilla is they feel like they're abandoned. They can feel like they're forsaken. And they'll be very, very tearful, very sad. On one minute they'll be okay, then they'll get very tearful again. And the remedy, Pulsatilla, is made from the windflower. It's like it moves with the wind. Same with the Pulsatilla, its symptoms, or especially its mental and emotional symptoms, will be changeable. So they'll be easily moved to tears. They may watch a TV program or listen to some music and they tear up, and they weep really easily. Even if they're speaking to somebody on the phone, they'll get upset, and they won't be able to really hardly talk without weeping. They can't stop it. Once they stop crying, they can't stop it. So they feel abandoned. They feel that they're unlovable, even though that might not be the case. It might be circumstantial. Somebody couldn't make Christmas, but they'll feel it quite deeply. and they'll feel abandoned, that the people don't care, they've left them. So they crave attention, they crave sympathy, and they're better for company. So if you go around and see them, they'll be so much more better, and they'll cheer up because they feel better for company and attention. They are better for being consoled. So if you give them a hug, and you want to give Pulsatillas a hug, you know, it's like you want to look after them. That's the nature of the remedy. They want to be held, they want to be hugged, and they're better for cool, fresh, open air, which is the keynote for Pulsatilla. So often they'll go out for a walk. If they go out for a walk and get the fresh air, they'll come back, they'll feel a lot better. Okay, they'll feel a lot better. Worse for stuffy rooms. This is a big keynote for Pulsatilla. They need windows open, they need to be outside. And again, keynote for Pulsatilla, it is thirstless. So again, a good remedy mentally, emotionally for people who feel very alone, feel forsaken, or feel abandoned in some way. Okay, Staphysagria. So this is a good remedy. I think this is for suppression of emotion. So this is when often, again, it can be family getting together, friends getting together. Often with Staphysagria, they have a great indignation about things that are being done to them by others. Okay, it's stuff that could have gone in the past or in the present at this event. And often family gatherings, if you probably know yourself, can bring up these things for them. So sometimes they can have feelings of humiliation and suppressed anger from quarrels or insults. So you may say something to them and it really goes in, okay? And they'll come across as very nice, very timid, very passive, very sweet. Even though you may say something to them that's quite insulting, but they have the anger underneath. It is bubbling away, okay? Bubbling away, very sensitive, very easily offended, and takes, again, everything to heart, especially rudeness. If you're rude about their food, if you're rude about their Christmas decorations, or you're rude about them in some way, they will take it to heart. You won't see it, they're very sweet and very nice, but it's there, it's bubbling away. They cry easily with this remedy, Staphysagria, but they don't want to be consoled. A bit like Pulsatilla, cries easy, it wants to be consoled. Staphysagria doesn't. It's just, oh no, I'm fine, and they want to get on with things. But what can happen is they might not express it emotionally, but they will express physical symptoms. So it will come out physically. And one of the big things for Staphysagria, when they suppress their emotions, particularly their anger, it can come out through the bladder in the form of things like cystitis or a urinary tract infection. Okay? It's like they're pissed off. They're pissed off. And they can have a sensation of a pressure upon the bladder, feels it doesn't empty properly when they go to the toilet, and they have frequent urging to urinate with scanty or profuse watery urine, okay? But they have burning in the urethra with or without urination. So they could be urinating, but they have the burning, might not urinate, still have burning sensation, and urging and pain after urinating. They're better for warmth, better for rest, worse suppressed emotions. So but however, what can happen with Staphysagria, they can be very sweet, very mild, but that anger can come out. All of a sudden, it's like they just flip, and you'll get the brunt of it. And you go, oh my goodness, what was that? I only said I wanted milk in my tea. And they'll start throwing things and breaking things. They tremble with their anger. It's like they're so angry in you. It's like you'll maybe get the brunt of it that actually has been building for a long time. And that's Staphysagria. So it can come out. Just be wary, it can come out. It's like it builds it to a point, but then it comes out. But that trembling with their anger, they're saying they'll be trembling because there's so much suppression of anger. It's like it's built up and then it's expressed. And then a must-have for everybody, as I've always said in a lot of my videos, rescue remedy. This is a must-have to have in the house, to have in your bag, to have in the car. Always good. Any emergency situation, mental and emotional or physically, it's really good to have, around this time. So this, as you know, Rescue Remedy is a blend of 5 of the original 38 back flower remedies. And it has 5 individual flower remedies. Rock Rose, which is good for terror and panic. Impatience, which helps with irritation and impatience. Clematis, which aids in inattentiveness and lack of focus. Star of Bethlehem, which is for shock. And Cherry Plum, which assists with irrational thoughts and lack of self-control. So this is a great remedy to have with you, just like Arnica is, Always have that around. And that, everybody, is my 12 remedies for Christmas. You will get a copy of the PowerPoint. Joanne, if you want to put the link in the chat. And remember, as I said about home prescribing, use a 6C or a 30C of the homeopathic remedy, because normally these are what you can get in the health food stores or in the remedy kits. And take 1 dose twice daily for 3 or 4 doses, or until symptoms improve. As I say, remedies are a key to a lock. All you got to do is find the right key, and then stimulate the body will heal itself. And you're looking for the keynotes. Not everything I've described in each remedy you need in order to prescribe, but you need a 3-legged stool, 3 major of those keynotes that I've talked about. And if symptoms persist, seek a qualified practitioner. And again, check us out on YouTube, subscribe to YouTube channel, check us out on our website, www.chhomeopathy.com. So until we meet again, take care, bye-bye.